How did we get to this point?
I think really this is a social experiment.
I really didn't like that for myself. Going from an iPhone to a professional camera would change things completely. We filmed 5 videos in one day, and what came out of that wasn't just content. It was a conversation none of us expected to have. Nobody tells you that going pro with your production means every detail you didn't think about shows up on screen. Every single one. I'm Kelly Lorraine, this is Watch Me Build Social, and today my director Renji and my director of photography Mateen are sitting with me to talk about what actually happened. Let's get into it.
Beautiful. Let's get into it.
All right, let's talk about things.
You can now look at us. Yes.
I can look at you guys?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful.
For first time.
Okay,
Yes.
first time. You're with me in real time, everybody. Okay, Renji, tell me, who are you and what do you do?
Okay, my name is Renji. I am a recovering League of Legends addict. I'm a director. I'm a filmmaker. But these are the things I'm doing. But who am I as a person? I am someone who helps facilitates. I am someone who likes to help find truth. As Kelly likes to say, I'm a Sagittarius. And really, ultimately, I'm here to make this happen for Kelly. So she can speak her truth and help people like you and ourselves as artists learn more about social media and how we can make better content and how we can close this amplification gap so we can be heard just like all the other creators who might have more power or influence or resources.
I actually think we're all in the amplification gap in some capacity.
Okay.
And so I think that's what kind of brought us together. Mateen, I'm going to ask you the same question. Who are you and what do you do?
Hey, I'm Mateen. I'm a cinematographer. That's what I do, and that's what I love to do. Yeah.
Why do you love doing it? I'm just kind of curious because
I've always
I know
loved
you
doing it.
love doing it, but I want to know why.
That's a great question. I've always asked myself. I don't know because I had no influence to make me love it. I just always loved movies. I've never questioned what I wanted to do my whole life. I wanted to make movies. I mean, I didn't always want to be a cinematographer. I wanted to be a director. But I got into film school and I discovered that's really my calling, cinematography. I shot a lot of movies back in film school at York University with all these guys, all my Yorkies, all the homies behind the camera.
All the Yorkie dogs.
That you don't see. We all come from that York land. And and since then I've just been shooting a lot of narrative doc kind of stuff, lately more commercial and corporate. I'm just so happy that we found Kelly. And for this project, I'm basically, if you don't know what a cinematographer does, I'm in charge of all the visuals. I'm in charge of everything to do with the visual and creative and technical aspects of actually putting all of this together. So we got 3 cameras here. Bang, bang, bang. You got that, Trey?
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Like, we set all this up with my amazing crew, my great team. I got the lights going, everything.
Cool.
No, I really appreciate you guys being here with me because this was so unplanned. We did not think that we were going to be doing this. It basically came out of a very long filming day where we just somehow decided that Watch Me Film Social needs to be an extension of Watch Me Build Social.
Yes.
Okay? So my question to all of you is, how would you describe what we're doing? What is this?
I think really this is a social experiment.
It is.
Because what you're doing is you're teaching people how to build social media while making your own social media in real time from zero.
Yes.
So I think it's a really great social experiment. What we're doing here is really we're here to facilitate and make this happen with the production, with all the cameras and lighting, making sure the edits are good so that your content is quality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why did you say yes, Mateen, to doing this?
Why did I say yes to doing this? This was new territory for me. I had never done YouTube before. Right now, for myself, I'm trying to diversify my skills in cinematography. So I wanted to see what it was like to light and shoot something for YouTube. And but also we got along very well when we were shooting. Can I talk about Sam?
Yeah, of course you can.
When we were shooting with Sam, which was another client of ours that we were doing in this same house. Can I say that? I don't know.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, no, Sam and I are friends. And Sam has been working on a project And I happened to see Renji and Mateen, and it just kind of went from there. It's when you meet good people, you want to work with them.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. I watched the two of you, and I said, you know what? I need these guys.
Yeah, and I think we hit it off very well, all of us. It was just a really good bond. I think, you know, sometimes when we're in the middle of shooting, we just get carried away and we have like these long conversations. Even after wrap,
we're here for hours
for
talking about
hours.
Camera angles and lighting.
No, but even just like about like life and like sometimes it's like dating advice with Kelly and all these things.
Hey, listen, nobody would be surprised by this. Anybody who knows me knows, of course I could talk for hours.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, I can talk about any topic imaginable. I can link anything to any other topic. And obviously, I like to talk. I like to get to know people. I like good business. So when I'm working with people, I want good connection. And so, as I said earlier, this was so unplanned. We had a long day of filming. We were having after hours conversations, and it just turned into, why don't we actually reflect back and talk about what went well and maybe what didn't go the way we expected, right?
And this isn't honestly just for us, it's for other people who are like making videos and being like, oh man, how did they do this? Or like, how do we accomplish this? Or to like people like relate to like the struggles that we have to make content, because it's not always easy. And
no.
what we should do is film the other side so people can see what to expect. Maybe I'll get a quick shot of that, but please continue. You can do you. Yeah.
Well, I do find it interesting that we've kind of gone off script, not that we really had a script, but I really do think what's important to talk about here is that when we started this idea of Watch Me Film Social, we had no idea how it would be set up, right?
Yeah.
It basically was this idea of let's reflect back on the day. And also for that, Mateen is not comfortable necessarily in front of a camera because he likes being behind the camera, right? Renji makes content for everybody else, but he's not necessarily making content for himself. And I think that this kind of brought us into a deeper conversation about what about the creator who is new, isn't totally comfortable. Everybody's gonna have a different comfort level or experience level, right? I've been working for 5 years with Kelly Lorraine 111. That has been my flagship. That's how I started. So I am comfortable filming content every single day. I'm comfortable talking to my online community. And so this was an extension for me. That's why this is watching me in real time, right? So this right now is real time together, right? So real time for Mateen, real time for Renji, and real time for me. Yeah. So that's why it's universal. It's kind of like the human condition, right? Yeah. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to have to mature. We're all going to have to trust the process and basically get better as we go. So you're watching us today, the first time we're actually sitting down with each other. Who knows what could happen down the road once we're even more comfortable.
True.
Right? Okay, so what's the origin story of Watch Me Build Social? I think that's really important to talk about because Watch Me Film Social wouldn't be here without Watch Me Build Social. So for me, Watch Me Build Social is an homage, I guess you could say, or sort of a little bit of a point to my father. So growing up, my dad would come home with these amazing business ideas. You know, his mind was always going. My dad would be sitting on the couch and his lips would be moving and he wouldn't like talk out loud, but he'd be in constant conversation. He would go to my mom and say, Lorraine, I'm gonna do X, Y, Z. And she'd look at him and say, Harold, what do you know about, for example, what do you know about building a house? What do you know about being a horse farmer? These are all things that my dad decided to do out of nowhere, right? So his response was, watch me. So when I thought about this channel, I said, watch me. Because it's not about being cocky, it's not about being arrogant, it's about the fact that I'm gonna better my skills, watch me do it in real time, because I'm gonna show myself that I can do it. Right. It's not about proving anything to anyone else. It's about doing this for me. And if you're along with me on this ride, then that's wonderful and that's a bonus, right? So if that's the origin of what brought me here, and we started filming these videos, and hence we're now Watch Me Film Social, what's something that you would like people to watch you do, Renji?
I have terrible cow allergies, but what's something I would love people to watch me do? I think it's teaching. I really enjoy teaching and sharing my knowledge, and if I had the opportunity to like have people listen and learn, then I would love that. Which is kind of what we're doing here today, which is why I feel so happy about this. Yeah.
Mateen, what do you want people to watch? What do you want to do that brings something to others?
What do I want to do that brings something to others? Wait, what are you asking? Are you asking what do I want people to see?
Yeah,
Or what do I want
you're
to
here to
contribute?
Yeah, you're here to contribute, right? What do you bring? What do you bring to this table right now? What would you like people to watch you do?
I think you don't get enough of a good look of like what goes behind. We were just talking about this as we were shooting. You were saying a lot of content creators and people who watch people on the other side of the screen that are watching it, they don't realize what goes behind.
No,
they don't realize the production, the level of production. And everyone has their own setups. Everyone does it a little bit differently. But for something like this, it takes a village. It takes a whole team. You good?
CCAM soft.
Yeah, I thought this would be a really unique opportunity. I haven't seen too many videos where you really are taken behind the scenes and get a good look of everything that goes behind it, because it's exhausting for all of us. It's exhausting for you. They see, maybe one video every few days.
And it's 10 minutes.
And
they don't see the hours.
Yeah.
The days
They also don't realize that you're shooting all of this at once. That you did episodes 1 to 5 all in one day.
All in one day.
All in one day.
And actually, people don't see even what goes on before that, in the sense of it's the ideas, it's the script writing, right? It's the editing, it's the discussions, it's the late night phone calls that we have, Reggie, where we're going back and forth about what we think is best. And so all we can do in the end is our best, actually, and see where it takes us.
Right.
And this is the thing about behind the scenes. You're right. You're seeing me as the face of the channel, naturally. But I'm not just the channel. You are part of that channel, too.
Right.
And you're important to me. We are a team. And it's interesting because some of the other interviews that I plan on doing are with people that I have worked with before. And what I think has always been important to me is building that rapport and building that connection. So I was saying this to you earlier. We had a downtime moment where I was like, wow, I feel a little tired. I don't think people realize what really goes into this, right? As you said earlier. And I don't know. I just thought to myself, it's not just me, because you have to problem solve as well. Yeah. And I think we need to kind of go back to those first 5 videos and let's talk about what actually happened, because I'll start off by saying this. I think I kind of shocked you guys a little bit with my view of how it went, because I think we looked at completely different things, right? Yeah. So I'm used to filming on my own phone, right? I film very close to my face. I know my angles. I know what works for me. I had no idea that going from an iPhone to a professional camera would change things completely. What is it that people need to know about filming on a professional camera versus your phone? What do you think from your perspective and professional opinion?
Yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so I guess, so on Kelly with Lorraine one-on-one, I guess everything that you shot was on your own, and it was in selfie mode with your camera right here, about like a foot from your face.
Okay, but do you know why? I'm not to interrupt you. I have to tell you why.
Go ahead.
Because it feels like I'm having a conversation with my online community, right? People often say they feel like I'm talking to them. And so to me, that's always been very important. The moment that we set up and put that camera further back, I don't know what it is. I felt different. Yeah. Why? Why did I feel that way?
I'm going to say identity.
Okay.
Because if you're used to something and seeing yourself in some way,
right.
That's now become a part of your identity. And when you see yourself in a different way, it's a different identity. Like from being just a regular single person to being a boyfriend, to being a husband.
Right.
Same person.
Right.
I treat you the same. Different titles, different identities. Sometimes you see yourself differently. So I think a lot of it is more mental than it is like, of course there is distance, there's focal length, and there's things to look at.
Right.
But I think a lot of it is mental and just how we feel about ourselves.
So maybe like a perception versus a reality kind of thing, because we did talk about that in quite a bit of detail.
I think it probably has a bit to do with a certain image, like a certain self-image that you're probably a lot more used to when you're talking to your fans, when your phone is right there. Yes. That's a certain look. And I remember after we shot episodes 1 through 5, we looked back and you had some problems with the way it looked because you just weren't used to such a drastic difference. You actually said, like that's not me. Like
Yeah.
you said, like
That's AI. That's not
yeah,
me.
you're like we needed to work on it a bit in post.
Right.
Do you want to get into that later? Like, is that? Do you
Well,
want to
there's.
talk about what we did?
Well, I'll tell you where I think it's most important to focus on,
Okay.
and that is on that iPhone, right?
Yeah.
I'm close to the camera. I'm talking to my audience. I know my angles,
Yeah.
and I use a skin smoother,
Yeah.
but I don't change or alter my face, right? The shape of my face, my lips, my eyes. That's me. When I saw myself on the video, I'm sorry, but the camera really does add 10 pounds. That they obviously say that for a reason.
Yeah.
I felt that my face was wider than it normally is. I felt like I was talking at a different eye level or different angle.
Yeah.
And so when I talk, I tend to talk a little bit more in the sort of like looking down, kind of like, I don't want to say I'm smoldering at the camera, or smizing to the camera, but maybe I am, right? My smirk, my eyes, I get it. But I kind of look at the camera a little bit differently. Now, we all know that when people take selfies, they tend to look up, right? And so I do the opposite. I tend to look a little bit more down. So when I saw myself on the camera, it almost looked like I was doing this, where like I was lifting my face up. And I really didn't like that for myself. It
Yeah.
didn't feel like it looked like me.
Yeah.
And so again, I felt like my face was wider. And yet the feedback from you guys was, Kelly, you look great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel that way. You would have thought that I was going to critique my performance or my voice or my intonation. That wasn't my worry. My worry was, how do I look on camera? And I think that's a very natural thing. It doesn't mean that I'm vain or that I'm conceited. It just means that I'm very meticulous with the way I present.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to make sure that I'm presenting myself the best possible way. But I do recognize this is me, right? And so I'm going to be me. And when we talked about it afterwards, it was like, well, this is what it is.
Yeah.
We just have to think about next time, what do we do to maybe change the way the camera is angled or, you know, the eye level.
Yeah.
So what did we do with that? I mean, you're
Yeah.
the expert. I don't know what the technicalities are, but
Yeah, so we looked at those first 5 episodes, and you know, like you said, I mean, your fans. It's not just the way you want to appear, but it's also about like having feeling like it's the same person to your fans.
Right,
And when
yeah.
you have such a different perspective, there might be a disconnect. I don't know. There might be something that
Yeah.
they're just not feeling anymore because it does feel different, and it's a big difference between short form and long form content.
Yeah.
Like short form, everyone is doing it themselves. They have their hands on the phone, or they have like the tripod, but set up close to them, and they're usually doing it themselves. But when it comes to like doing studio stuff or professional work, when we have a team, you usually put the camera further back. When it's the horizontal format, it's usually and it's shot on professional cameras. It's just a completely different setup. So initially in episodes 1 through 5, I set the camera up pretty far back because normally that's what I like to do when I'm doing my cinematography work.
Right.
This was later I realized I made a lot of mistakes because I needed to kind of learn all these little things, right?
or maybe things you never thought before,
No,
or
things
you
I
didn't have
never
a client
thought.
that maybe
Yeah.
looked at the things that I was looking at.
Exactly. So what we did, I set the camera a little further back than it is now, because I wanted that depth. I also got it eye level. I usually like to get things eye level for things like this. You know, sometimes when you want to be cinematic, when you get creative, you can do different looks. In fact, in narrative cinematography or even documentary, we actually like to go low angles, which I'm sure is like a nightmare for you. You like
Right.
to be high,
Yes.
right? But low angles are actually often very cinematic in
Yes,
different
they are.
ways, and that's a stylistic thing. It's
Is
a
that because
creative
it
thing.
brings power to the image?
Yeah.
Yeah, or strength.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely psychological things that come with it, but it's also just like aesthetically. There's something about looking down from someone.
Yes.
It's a very common place to hold the camera,
Right.
and it just gives you a slightly different perspective, and just makes it adds more of a visual interest, even though you're looking up at them. I think something about that, right? But there's also the whole high angle. Makes you seem a little
Right.
bit more smaller, and this makes you feel more dominant. All those little things that you're taught. But when it came to this, there were a few things that I didn't realize. I put the camera far back. I had it at perfectly eye level, and the lighting was a little different than it is now. It was a bit more head-on. I wanted to feel nice and kind of even, flat, high key, right? And on the day when you took a look at the monitor, you didn't see anything, and obviously we didn't see anything because
No.
we don't see the same things that you see.
And we're
obviously.
paying
We also
attention to
didn't.
different
We also didn't
Yeah.
know each other enough,
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
right? And I think that is the thing that I don't think anybody would know.
Yeah.
I think this is just like the learning curve at all. You wouldn't have known what I'd be looking for. I wouldn't know what you're looking for because you're the professionals, and for me, this is more the personal side of
Yeah.
me, right?
But it is our job to learn that stuff, and over time, I tried to train my eye to think about the things that you would be looking at, and so did you, and we've
Yeah.
been talking
Yeah.
about that.
We talk about this a lot.
And
We
that's-
talk about it without you here.
Do you?
Yeah, we just gossip about you.
What do you say?
We say,
What do
"Oh
you say? Tell
man, look at this butterfly lighting." Anyways, so what I learned from this?
Yeah,
just
the
to
new
jump in-
butterfly lighting because we didn't have it originally.
Yes.
Right.
So what I learned from this was really focusing on what the client wants.
Yeah.
Because when we have our own jobs, Mateen's job is to take care of the camera and the lighting. My job is to take care of you, the script, the tone, making sure that the content is what you want.
Right.
None of us are looking at, is my hair fixed on my collar or not?
Okay,
Or-
so I did
or-
mention that my hair was tucked behind my collar, and I was like, "How come you didn't tell me
Yeah.
that my hair was behind my
And
collar?"
I'm like, listen.
You were like, how did you
man.
not see that?
I'm like, hey, listen,
we're
Kelly,
dudes. Like,
we are not looking at your hair. We're
Yeah.
like, he's like, is the lighting good? Is the camera on? And I'm like, is the tone good? Is the
camera
speed right? Is the teleprompter good? Or whatever the case is.
Right.
We are all looking at different things. But when we know what you want, we can pay a little bit more attention to that.
And now, I mean, even today, I have to add this in. Even today, Reggie looked at me and said, "Listen, you might want to like check those little frizzies on your hair, you know, because I don't want you telling me later
Yeah.
that your hair's been sticking up." And I'm like, okay. I can't roll my eyes at him because I mean, like, he's looking out for me, and that's
Yeah,
the
And
key,
it's
right?
what you want. And we
And
and
it's what
we
I
and
want,
now we
exactly.
know. And now we know.
because we know that like we're like at this point we know that like if we don't make mention of these things that obviously don't bother us, like you're gonna come back at the end when you see the
Right.
dailies and everything, and you're gonna be like, oh, what is this? No, we have to go back.
And ultimately, your happiness is key.
Yes,
Right.
we
Which
want
is
you
why
to
now
know.
we learn about hair
Right.
and makeup and all this other stuff.
I mean, I think it made
I
you
just-
look at
yeah.
things differently than you normally would have. And I think that's the whole watch me build social philosophy is that we're building in real time. There is no such thing as perfection right away, right? We can't go from 0 to 100 right now. This is something that takes time. And I think naturally in social media, and not even just social media, this is seen everywhere, right? People want fast results. They want perfection.
Sure.
And how do you know what that is unless you're actually going through the motions, right? You learn by doing. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So we always have to go through the changes in order to get better every time. I mean, I've said, as long as every video gets better every single time,
Yeah.
I'm happy. I mean, I don't know any person that looks at their very first video they've ever made and said, wow, this is so perfect, right? I mean, I'm curious. What about the first film you ever did? How do you feel about it now?
First film I did, I was 11, and I watched it. It was in middle school with me and a good friend of mine named Ben, and we created something called Benji Productions.
Oh,
And
that's so
we
cute.
filmed in his house, and I went to go see him in Nova Scotia recently. When I went to see him, we watched these videos, which were hidden from the public for decades. We watched them and we laughed and we cringed about them.
Right.
However, I did notice certain things about like, hey, I really like this kind of shot or this kind of motion,
Right.
and I saw it from when we did this in 2010, or no, this must have been like 2008 to now 2026. The same things. So clearly, it made me realize these are things that I like, and I appreciate that this existed. This other side of me before we
Right.
had all
Yeah,
this
yeah,
crazy stuff going on.
Right.
That's how I felt about it. Of course, it wasn't perfect to answer your question, but damn, it made me feel good to watch it.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Mateen, what about you? What was the first film that you worked on, and how do you feel about it now?
I mean, it's been a long journey for me. I wanted to direct at first, and I made a lot of little mini documentaries. I will say, in my little time where I wanted to be a director most of my life, but in the small span of time where I was actually making movies as a director, I'm happy with my small body of work because it actually did well. I got into a festival, but that's the thing about the festival. It was a fun little like film noir kind of very stylized thing, like with gangsters set in the 60s. So a lot of fun. But it got into the TIFF TIFF Next Wave, which is like it's like a TIFF festival, but for like young creators.
It's like a segue.
Yeah.
Like it segues you into your next level.
Yeah,
right?
and that's sort of what it did, because and that's sort of, I think, where I realized what my calling really was. Because yes, I did every part of it. I directed and shot it and edited it, but I realized I was enjoying the shooting the most, and that's where I got all the compliments, and that's what got all the attention. And then at TIFF, it actually won the best cinematography award.
Wow.
And I got a.
That's amazing.
I learned this today.
Clock it. This is we're learning together.
And they gave me like a bursary, like a small bursary for my to study, because that was when I was in grade 12. So it was like I was going to go
study further and do new things. Yeah.
So that really pushed me to get into it. And then, but yeah, looking back at that, I mean, I always say I think it's positive. Even just as a cinematographer, when I started actually shooting as a cinematographer in my second year at York, that's when I realized I really wanted to do this. And I just shot a bunch of stuff. Like, I think it's a healthy thing to be able to look back and not like your work. That's a good thing. Even if I look back even at something that I shot like a couple months ago and say, oh no, like if I can see the problems, if I can see that means I've grown. That means there was a time where I liked it and I thought it was good. Right. And now I've realized all the issues. And even with this, I look back at episodes 1 through 5, I'm like, it was flat, the colors weren't there little things that were off. So I think that's a very healthy thing.
It is.
As any kind of a creator, to be able to, I'm sure even Spielberg looks back at his old work.
Of course.
I'm sure he looks at Jaws or Close Encounters, which we all consider masterpieces, but when someone progresses so much.
Well, think of the innovation of the shark in Jaws.
Yeah.
They had to use the point of view, right, of the shark because technology-wise, it wasn't there to be realistic enough to say, hey, this is a real situation, right?
Yeah, and it was a nightmare working with that animatronic shark that almost never worked when they were shooting it. All sorts of things. But yeah, and no, even the evolution of this program, it was really cool for me because I got to learn a lot. We kind of learned from all those little mistakes. I realized, okay, we need to employ this butterfly lighting so that we can sort of contour your face a little bit more. And you were like, you told me it once. You were like, your job is just to make me look good. I'm like, okay,
I did.
Got it. That's true. That's what we got to do, right? But cinematographers, it's good to really know your clients too. You can't just be sort of like a one size fits all. You have to understand the assignment very well, right? And understand, who this is for and what they want very, very well. So I lifted the camera a little bit, and because I wanted it to sort of emulate the angle that you're used to. Right. I got it closer, which I'm sure a lot of you understand, like the physics of optics and everything and lenses. When you get the camera closer, it sort of distorts the face, but in a way that isn't too much, just in a way that kind of makes you seem a little bit slimmer. The further back you are, everything is compressed, so your face is going to appear a bit wider. It's going to appear flatter when you get it really close, and that's why people have all these issues with when they have their cameras this close. They think they look a certain way, and they even see themselves in the mirror, or they see themselves in photos, and that's why they say the camera adds 10 pounds. It's actually like a physical thing, right? So we brought it closer. We brought the light higher, which is a big thing, and we did. What else did we do? Other little things.
Well,
we also, you said that you should try and keep your chin down a little bit more than you were before, because you didn't like how before we were looking up at you. So all these little tweaks, I think, really helped. And
I agree. I mean, there's even some other things that it wasn't even just the shape of my face or feeling like I was 10 pounds heavier. It was also the idea that I didn't think about how my hair would blend into the wall behind. That was the other lighting issue,
yes,
right?
That was a big thing. What's up?
Okay. Because I was thinking,
check.
into.
You fun?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm too far away, or what?
No, not
Too
you.
far away? Am I leaning too far?
No, you're good. We're just gonna change the camera. A lot of times you're not the problem. It's everything else.
You have it on camera that I'm not the problem?
She's not the problem. All the time. Yep, check. 1, 2. Beauty. So, for the viewers at home, because I don't know if we're going to cut this, what happened was we had an issue with the camera and with the microphone. So, we have our lovely colleagues here who have addressed this. We're going to get back into shooting. This is an example of how shit happens, and our job as filmmakers is to deal with it. And the truth is, Kelly's here. She's got the stuff that she's wrote down for her notes. She's going to deliver it to you. Sometimes it's not her. It's everything else around her.
I'm not the problem.
Always. Sometimes. Long story short, something I want to talk about is everything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Right.
Today we had someone who didn't show up.
Right.
Because they were sick.
Yep.
And there's nothing you can do
And
about that.
happens.
And so the best thing we can do is come, make a plan, and we pivot. And those are great examples of how we can be flexible as a team. We're learning from you. You want this. You're learning from us. Oh, we want this. We're also learning about like the script writing part of it, of like, hey, maybe if we add a little bit more personality, we can show you who you are, then people will really gravitate towards that, which is why we're doing this too. This is one of the things why we came on the show, is to make you feel like you have someone to talk to rather than just the camera.
Right.
So we wanted to give you some life and allow you to bounce off of us.
100%. But I also think what's interesting is that they volunteered to help me with this. Considering that Mateen said, I like to be behind the camera. I don't always like to be in front of the camera, right? And Renji makes content for everybody else. He doesn't necessarily put himself in content.
I also don't like to be in front of the camera.
Exactly.
It is what it is.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like to be behind the camera. I don't know what to do behind the camera, right? So I think that's the
Imagine
key.
we switched and
Imagine.
we were here and Kelly's behind there.
Imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we should try that. I mean, that's not a bad idea. That's a great experiment to think about. But I think that
You read her notes. You're like, I'm a teen. Watch me film social. Anyways, yeah.
I think the way I look at it is this: I wouldn't ask them to be in my video if I didn't think they were good people and that I wanted to work with them. And I don't think that they would be in my video if they didn't trust me enough as a good person to work with them. And I think that's the beauty of really what we're doing here, right? And so this concept is to show people that this isn't just one size fits all. It's going to matter the chemistry of the crew,
Right.
right? And so when you work with good people, this is when good things happen,
Yes.
right? And so I think to take it even one step further, Renji, I'd love to ask you, what's been different about directing me versus anyone else that you've directed?
Can I say your profession?
Yeah.
So Kelly, you're a teacher.
Yes.
So because you're a teacher, I think in terms of writing, that's a really good strong suit of yours. I think in terms of you as a person, you're very much like forward thinking. I don't want to say hard-headed, but you're very driven. Like, you're very driven.
Right.
Where some clients, I'll have to speak to them and be like, okay, like, what do you want out of this? And like, ask a lot more self-discovery questions. But you're like, listen, here's what I want. This is what we're going to do it. This is the way we're going to do it. And here we go.
Right.
So in a way, it makes it easier for me because it gives me structure about what we want to do for you. The one thing it does, and usually I provide structure for people.
Right.
A lot of creatives, they have a lot of great ideas. They have great energy or energy. And the issue is that
Shout out to Renergy Media House.
the issue is that with those people, they're like, okay, well, let's get some structure. Let's make a
Right.
shooting schedule. Let's get all these things down.
Right.
With you, I think the thing is, I'm having to look in places I don't have to look.
Right.
I'm looking for the cat in the oven.
Yes.
Because now I'm trying to think, what are the things we're missing? Like the hair, like the camera angle, like your blonde hair blending into the background, things like that.
Yes.
So we're all learning by being here with you. So for me working with you, I'm looking in places I don't usually look, which is, I guess, the difference. Does that make sense?
Right. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I think what was so funny about working with Renji was that when we first started talking, I said, Renji, you've never met anyone like me. And he's like, well, just make sure you've got this, and this ready. And I said, I didn't say watch me, but I said, trust me, I've got this. I'll make it happen. You know, we were very ambitious for that very first day of doing 5 videos in one day.
Yeah.
And so I said, we're gonna make it or break it. We're gonna make it. There's no option here. And so I think that regardless, we're gonna do our best, see where it takes us, and go from there.
I think it's really important for us to learn how to pivot, because that first day you said, hey, just so you know, these 5 videos, I have this secret 6th video I have never told you about.
That's
and
true,
we're going
I
to
did.
put it in the 6th video. And I said, okay.
Right.
So we just made the 6th video happen. And same as today, it's like
Yeah.
being able to think on the spot and pivot. And especially having everything ready, all of the equipment, all of the scripts.
Yes.
When we have things ready, it just makes it a lot quicker. For me, the next opportunity is how do I bring more Kelly into
Right.
this channel so people can really vibe with you, and then people can realize, hey, Kelly's really good at this. She's got like hundreds of thousands of followers, and now she's going to be opening up this consulting thing
Right.
where she's going to be able to help out people who are mid-tier level creators.
Right.
And as a mid-tier level creator, low-key, I'm getting a lot of the spillage, a lot of the
Well,
free
you did
stuff
tell me
coming
that
on
you were
me.
learning as we were going, and I
Yeah,
think that's
yeah,
also
yeah.
how we got to this point.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, in between takes or after the fact, we started talking about things that relate to what you're doing and what you're doing as well, Mateen.
Yeah.
And then it turned into, hold on, Kelly, maybe I'm thinking about this a little bit differently than I normally do.
Right.
And so how can we use that to our advantage?
Yeah.
You know, and I think something that's important for people to know about me is that I have another channel. I've spent 5 years on social media building a beautiful online community that I will always be faithful to. They have been absolutely wonderful and supportive to me. And that's a different channel. And I'll tell you why. Because technically, that's a channel that I talk very freely about my own story. I'm very vulnerable. I know that material inside and out, that there's no need for any kind of script, any kind of notes. And why is that? I mean, when I work in spirituality, I'm not planning anything. I can't plan what cards come out. I can't plan the energies.
Man, I always
right?
think they shuffle the deck. They're like,
Hey,
this is the
listen,
perfect card.
I
This
stay
is
in
what
my-
you need to know.
I stay in my own lane. I don't
Yeah.
know about other creators, but I can tell you, me personally, I'm very authentic, and my online family knows that about me. And so I don't have to think about it because I've talked about it so many times. Now, when Renji and I were talking about Watch Me Build Social, and he said, why don't you talk more freely? Why don't you, try to tell this story or that story? The issue is that this is somewhat new to me, not new in story of my life, but new in how many times I've told it to people. So when I'm talking about the amplification gap and where I'm seeing these situations, or a gap in, oh my gosh, a multitude of areas, it's newer to me. I can't just necessarily be like, boom, 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 but I'm already getting better at that. Right? And that's what happens over time. You have to remember, 5 years on Kelly Lorraine 111, we're basically at this point today, I don't even know if we're 3 months in. So,
Yeah, we're not. I don't
the
think so, yeah.
expectation that I could instantly be off script, talking freely, I mean, right now, yes, that's what we're doing. Right? And conversation does make it better because you're almost like teaching it as you're talking. Maybe that's the teacher in me saying that. But that's the point, is that eventually this becomes so second nature that you don't even think about it.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
So when I'm talking to my students, I say, do you think anybody starting a part-time job knows the very first day how to do their job? Does a teacher know to go in the classroom and take attendance and use the computer, use the technology, how to make a seating plan, how to manage a classroom? Does anybody know that the first day? Of course not. Did you know the first day that you grabbed, the lighting? Did you know that when you grabbed the camera? Did you know that the first day you filmed filmed with a crew? Did you know how to tell them what to do? You had to learn by doing. And that's the whole purpose of Watch Me Build Social.
Learn by doing, and also all the metadata. We're literally taking down this fourth wall, so you can see the people behind this. I would love to. In a sec, we'll pan the cameras and we'll show everyone, just to say hey, this is what it is. Because people watch it, they're like, oh, that's nice. How do we make that? And it's I think only really good cinemas, really good filmmakers can really break it down. Oh, here's an extra source of lighting. They use this kind of lens. So we want to take away all the mysticism and just show you, this is what it is. We can make this happen. Here's how you can make this happen.
Yeah.
Where you're watching from Canada, Australia, Timbuktu, anywhere, this is how we do it. Let's demystify it for you and show you we're just real people making it happen. That's it. Yeah.
So I think I have kind of not a closing question, but a thought.
Okay.
What does this say about the fact that we've got Watch Me Film Social? Meaning, what does that say about us in this process? How did we get to this point? Why did we get to this point?
I think we got to this point because you wanted to be more open and transparent about things.
Yeah.
So we're literally taking down all the curtains, all the stage curtains, and really showing people everything that works This is the formula. This is the secret. And a lot of what we do, like, this is not like the Krabby Patty.
Right.
Like, there's no secret formula that once you have the formula, you're
Right.
just going to have success.
Right.
People know this stuff, but to execute it, to know the person you're working with, to know what the expectation and the vision is, that's going to be different for all different projects.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think AI will ever take over the job of a director, because no one can really be like, hey, can you be more human? Like, what does that look like? It's really hard to exactly say what is needed without being able to see it and feel it intuitively.
So you make a very good point that I want to touch on.
Okay.
And that is, it's the same thing with coaching.
Okay.
Okay? You can go to your AI and you can talk about a script. You can talk about your ideas. But a good coach is going to give you feedback. And people, when they come to me, they don't come to me for fluff. They come to me for real talk. And so somebody who's a good director, somebody who's great at their craft, like Mateen with the lighting, and you said, hey, listen, I could do this or I could do that. That's not something AI is going to be able to do.
Right.
Right? So I believe that authenticity is really the issue here, because we want to be authentic.
Right.
And, you know, in a lot of my videos, I talk about elite creators. I'm not against elite creators. I think they have an amazing platform in front of them that they can use. However, if you really were to think about it, they have a network of people, right? They have endless budgets, right? They have creative directors. They have, you know, all the technology that they could ever need. When you're a mid-tier creator or you're at the beginning, you don't have that. And authenticity is what's going to matter, because right now I'm showing you in real time what I'm doing. Right? And so the people who are at that elite status, showing their 10 supercars and their cottages and all their luxury, hey, listen, all power to you, that's wonderful. But it's very hard for them to pivot back to humble when authenticity is going to be the most important thing.
As the great philosopher once said, be humble. Sit down.
Yes.
Well, nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
And I think one of the critiques that I have right now is that they're saying, you know, just grab your iPhone and be raw. But being raw doesn't mean be lazy or don't put out good quality content.
Yeah.
There's a difference with that. And I think people can misinterpret what that means. You know, if you're going to be raw and be real and authentic, you still want to make good content.
So for all of you emerging new creators, all of you mid-tier creators who really need help, you probably put in the work, you probably do a lot of scripting, a lot of planning. I have a lot of friends like this myself. And when they ask me for advice, now I can say, yo, watch this channel. Because this is ultimately like how you do it. And I think Kelly has a lot of great tips. Yeah. Doesn't matter what you do. If you do sports, if you do OnlyFans, hey, whatever you do, what you're doing, you're learning. No judging. This is a system here. No. You can apply the system how you want. But truthfully, I think what Kelly is doing is really valuable to a lot. And she's also being vulnerable by sharing her story. And the more we get into that story, I feel like the more people are going to love it, and the more people are going to resonate. It's going to grow exponentially. But
well, yeah. I mean, moving forward, our plans are to do more interviews, talk to mid-tier creators, give actionable items that can help someone grow or to close the gap. Because ultimately, we want to be authentic. We want distribution. We want to be clear in our messaging. And no better way to do that than to coach with each other, talk with each other, help each other. We got to rally the troops. We got to be there for each other. And so that's what I want to do with you guys.
And something I want to ask, just because you asked both of us, what would you do differently if we could start back from step number 1?
If I could go back, I would think about how to loosen myself up a little bit. I think naturally when we start, we have all these ideas. We're bombarded with, I have to be like so-and-so, or it has to look like this, or it has to feel like that. And I think authenticity, back to that point, is just be yourself. Just be me, right? And it's hard to do that sometimes when there's a lot of expectations or you really don't know what to expect. So I think now when I'm sitting with you here and I feel a lot looser and we can just chat, I think that that's very valuable. At first, I think we're trying to put on a little bit of a mask that says, hey, I belong here. And that's natural. But regardless of that mask, we all belong here. And so I think it's a matter of, do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in your capabilities, Mateen? Do you believe in yourself? Because what it comes down to, and we're going to talk about this in other videos, it's giving yourself the permission. It's one thing to ask for happiness, another thing to allow it. And it's also another thing to ask for success, another thing to allow it. And most people get in their own way. And we're going to talk about that in other videos.
Awesome. Is that our way of segueing to the end?
Absolutely.
All right, you friends, listen. Watch Me Film Social, episode 1. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope this is just real, and we'll probably break it down into reels, so we'll see how you feel. Anyways, what's the deal? So with this being said, we're gonna come back. Maybe we'll do this every 3 months or so.
Let us know in the comments if you like this. Do you want to hear us reflect back on these videos?
I think we should drop questions. I think we should answer.
Oh, a little Q&A. That's cool.
Yeah.
See,
because there's going to be things that we're not really thinking about because we're not the audience.
And we're going to think about things after the fact. We're going to watch this back, and we're going to reflect on the reflection.
And if you're an emerging or mid-tier creator and you want to be on the show, you should also message us too, because we could always need more people to interview.
Yeah.
Interest Media is all about what you do, and what I do is not what you do. So we want to hear about what you do. We're interested in Interest Media because I have no clue what you do, and whatever you do, we get to learn about it through you, which is ultimately a beautiful thing about social media. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Here's what I want you to take from this conversation. The details that feel small are never small. The things that nobody flags in the moment are the things that show up on the screen. And the gap between looking like you belong at the... Oh, I have to do it again.
And the gap between looking like you belong at the next level and actually being there, that gap lives in the details.
Renji, you've always got my back.
All right, you go.
But here's the other thing I want you to hold. Watch Me Film Social exists because 3 people who trust each other had an honest conversation after a very long day. That's it. No agenda, no plan, just people who respect each other enough to say, we could do this better, and here's how. That is what I'm trying to build here. Not just a channel, a community where that kind of conversation is normal. Where we figure out together instead of pretending we already have it figured out. If you're a creator who's about to level up your production, or if you're already in it and you recognized yourself in anything we said today, I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, what is the detail nobody warned you about? What did you have to figure out the hard way? Because that conversation is exactly why we're here. I'm Kelly Lorraine. This is Watch Me Build Social, or Watch Me Film Social. Watch me.
Watch me.
What? Yes.
Watch me too.
Watch me too.
Good job.
Great job, guys. That's lunch. Yay!